the two blocks right here for neighborhood renewal program launch.
Right, Minister, is there any some questions about the any confirmation on your lineup for this year?
It seems to be quite firm now. Of course, there could always be last-minute changes, but it looks as if there'll be a lot of stability. Liu Kwang is likely to go to Ang Mo Kio, and when we come to the new candidate, will join us.
So then we don't expect any major surprises on nomination day?
I don't expect major surprises, but you never know these days.
Right. So how has the preparation for the elections been coming along? You know, how are you convinced that you've been able to improve on the 51.6%?
It's 56.1.
Sorry, 56.1% margin in the last election.
Well, we've been working very hard in the last 5 years, so I think all of us are very happy that when the boundaries were drawn, that they were substantially the same. Because it's very important that the ground that we are working on be the ground that we've been passing its judgment. We believe that the work we've done in the last 5 years, in all four corners of GRC, would have been known to the residents. I believe that on that basis, we have a good track record to talk about. And when we talk about our plans for the future, we have very interesting plans for the next 5 years. They will believe us that we carry out our promises.
Do you expect another tough fight this time?
Well, it depends on opposition who they're choosing. We heard that the Workers' Party is putting a strong leader. But I believe in the end it is whether we have acquitted our responsibility well in previous years that will come down. Because they can feel a strong team, but strong is new to them. And I believe they'll be new to the residents. The key is we are known. So for good or for bad, we are known. And we hope that the work that we've put in the last few years, they will have a good measure of it.
So there's
the Workers' Party has been here the last election. What is new to them?
They were here in 2001. There was a walkover because the forms were not properly filled. Then they had a different scene. There are some same members, some different, 206. I believe for the coming GD, apart from civil link, all the others will be new.
Would that be an advantage to the PAP, would you say that? Would that be an advantage to the PAP, looking at the likelihood that if the Workers' Party sends the team with only Sylvia as the new member, would that be an advantage to the PAP, would you say?
Well, it depends. If we have done our work well, then familiarity creates comfort, assurance, trust. If we have not done our work well, then familiarity breeds contempt. In the same way for the Workers' Party, actually I'd rather not talk about what they have done because it's not for me to say. Whatever I say may seem to be from an interested party. I think it's better if you ask the residents here what they do.
So even if the Workers' Party sends a strong team, sends the strongest team, there's nothing to fear?
No, we don't take any vote or any voter for granted. We work as if, we've been working on the basis that they were strong, very strong team here. And well, it's for us to put the case to residents, the voters, that we represent the better team.
Minister, how to assess the impact of new media in the upcoming election?
It will certainly become more important when I go door-to-door canvassing. I make it a point now on my iPhone 4 to take pictures. Then I would tell them if you post it on Facebook. And invariably there's a certain smile on their faces. That, oh, yes, I would say almost every household is on Facebook. So I believe the social media will become a factor in this election.
So how different is your campaigning strategy, looking between, as compared to the last election, this coming one, is there working even harder, looking at the small margin of victory that the PAP has garnered in the last election. So what is your campaigning strategy, sir?
Many things change, some things don't. And elections in the end about the future of people, their fears, their hopes, their concerns about the children, about old age, about safety, facilities, about whether they get wet, rain, mosquitoes, car parks. So these are very practical problems which are important in every general election. As an MP, I don't spend much time talking to them about United Nations or foreign policy. It's about addressing these problems. When there was a talk about foreign workers in the Serangoon Gardens, how they respond to make sure that the people were properly insulated. When we had the Meech problem, water reservoir, how we reacted to solve it quickly before the Chinese New Year. When there was a fire at quickly recovering the area, setting up a temporary hawker center, rebuilding the old one, all the time doing it in a way which minimizes inconveniences to the residents. These are what's important in the general election. I mean, there are national issues, but there are local issues. And as the local MPs, the local issues matter a lot.
So previously you mentioned, one of the Workers' Party, so-called star candidate Chen Chou Mao has good credentials. To what extent do you think he will make a difference?
Actually, I would like to know more about him. I think the credentials so far are impressive, but 30 years is a long time. So I asked myself 30 years ago, what was I doing, and how Singapore has changed in the last 30 years. So I think it's important that we hear more from him and have a sense of how much he's able to, how much he feels for the people of Singapore, what his views are. I would say, I think it's a very interesting CV, but it's important to do much more. I mean, for the rest of us, we are no true and true. Every ministry that we have done, what we did during SARS, what we did during the financial crisis, what we did during the Asian economic crisis, what happened when we had quarrels with other countries, where we stood and so on. So I think it's important that, I'm not only talking about that Dr. Chen. I mean, it can be any candidate. It can be a PAP candidate, it can be an opposition candidate. It's very important that when a candidate is put forth, people must evaluate whether he is someone who can represent interests, someone whom they can trust, someone whom they are convinced, feel their deep aspirations, their fears, their concerns, their hopes. That's very important. It's not about your IQ. Of course, IQ is important if you are holding a high position. But for an MP, it is your sense of your people, your community. That's what it is. So when it comes to you with a problem, it could be school, it could be because you are arrested alone. It's important that you feel. That's what we in the Aljunied team have striven to do the last 5 years before that. I mean, I've been an MP for 23 years now. I'll be going to my 6th general election. So for good or for bad, everything is out for everybody to see and dissect and evaluate. And okay, I go by that. I present myself to the people out there. So to Lim Hui Hua, Sana Abidin, Cynthia. Ong Yi Kang is a new candidate. I knew him when he was working for me in the Ministry of Trade Industry. He was a deputy chief negotiator for the US-Singapore Free Trade Agreement. I remember talking to him because there were some tough issues to be made, including intellectual property and opening up certain sectors in Singapore. In our discussions, we ask ourselves, 10, 20, 30 years from now, where will Singapore be? And how do we make sure that Singapore is in a good position, good jobs? Now, on that basis, we negotiated a very good free trade agreement, which I believe has yielded huge benefits for Singapore. Then after he left the service, he worked in UDA, where he's done a lot of good for a lot of people. They went to NTUC, looked after transport workers. He showed himself to be able very quickly to get into the group that he's working for, to express their interest. So I feel very good about the team that we had. We have put out our full record, what we've done, what we've not, what we were able to achieve. Ask residents on that basis to trust us. And I hope the opposition candidate, when he finalizes, will do the same thing.
Mr. Peter, you want to interest in what should Singaporeans look out for, listen out for?
I was asked earlier whether PAP is introducing its manifesto tomorrow. I don't know. Yeah. Could be. Yeah. About time.
So can I have some comments on do you think that
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
these new changes, do you think that it will help to PAP get more votes this time?
We are putting on an exhibition to explain to the residents what we're trying to do. We need their support. They don't have to pay anything, but we need their support because if they feel that it's not worth the inconvenience, the disruption to their daily lives, the dust, maybe the noise, maybe the hoarding, then we should not do it. But if they feel that it's something good for them, then government will put in the money, and we as MPs work very hard to make sure that what comes out in the end is something which will benefit them and their families. That's something that we do. So it's something which has been done elsewhere. Generally speaking, residents have supported the upgrading proposal, but the details are very important. Maybe you can have a facility, but it's in the wrong place or oriented in the wrong direction, it'll create problems. So the details are very important, and working very closely with residents is really a key principle of the way we do things here.
Other than upgrading, what other promises will you make to residents to vote for you?
Oh, in fact, we have 10 major programs. That's why many of us are wearing Aljun 10 t-shirt, because it's very difficult for people to recall what the 10 programs are. In fact, coined an acronym called Kway Teow, Hot and Nice, which covers a whole range. Firstly, kampong spirit, meaning look after one another. Those who are out of work, those who are handicapped, keeping an eye out for labour. Then we have programs to look after the old, the young. We talk about upgrading. Key upgrading program is the home improvement program, when government will actually renovate the toilet, change the plumbing, repair all the spoiling concrete, maybe replace the front door. So it's a very important program. It's quite substantial subsidies of thousands of dollars per household. And we've told residents that we'll fight hard for these programs to be introduced early in eligible estates in Asia. Then we're going to push out transportation. There's a new downtown line which will come up. There will be 4 stations which we expected, like in Bukit, go to Reservoir, Waterfront, all the way to Tampines. It's the underground, near the PIE. So on both sides, we must make sure that they are well linked to shopping centres, to residential areas for businesses and people. Then we have programs to help them on the creating access to heritage, which is important. All the teaching areas, something which matters a lot to Singaporeans because we spend so much of our time. So we are looking at all of them. In fact, Kaki Bukit, we are looking at how to teaching areas there. In Hougang Central, I just went down last weekend to think through a third round of upgrading. And for all the others. Then, amidst all this, we want residents to be able to live healthy lives, live close to nature, and have a balanced way of life. So kind of warm living habitat in our doing here. That's what we're trying to achieve. So 10 programs, a bit hard to remember. So we've got this Kway Teow, H&M. That will be in our election brochure. And you find all of us candidates frank with them.
So just one last question on this. It is the third round, and as just a devil's advocate, people and on the fact sheet we know that you are actually this is going to influence or benefit the most number of blocks this time. Is it especially for the elections that you're doing this, or it covers such a wide?
If you look at what we have done the last few years, over time we have done a lot of things. Of course, because elections are coming, we are accelerating certain projects so that we get maximum benefit out of it politically, to be able to convince residents that look, these are the things that we're doing for you. There's some timing elements, but if you evaluate us over 5, 10, 15 years, then it is quite clear that our plans are not short-term plans, but really long-term plans.
Thank you.
Thank you so much all for coming.
All the best.